So many recordings, guys. Friggin' unbelievable. Juice everywhere. Been off the screen for too long. Really don't know what I'm doing. But I'm back on screen, dropping videos, showing flavour. That was never doing that again either. Never. Anyway, Bitcoin update. What I'm looking at. Obviously, been in a super downtrend for what, 8-9 months now. Coming to a point where we're either gonna front run and this is gonna go turbo 84k, higher time frame's gonna look super fucking sexy, or we're gonna see a fucking gay wick above 67k, and then we're gonna crash all the way to 50, and then we'll form some sort of bottom there. But I am slowly starting to see signs. I was pretty convinced we've potentially seen the bottom here. Did manage to capture that move up to the 50%. Triple C, we followed that to suit. Now I am starting to think that there is, but I know everyone's still thinking 50k, and I get it. It's in the back of my mind. I'm trying not to focus on that because I don't want that to overcome the potential trades going forward. What I'm seeing at the bottom is kind of similar to what although the structure looks different, the context is pretty much still there. We had the relatively equal highs, swing low formed, run above, shifting structure. Once we broke through and closed through the swing low, we had early signs of wicks below, mitigated the positions, in my opinion, for the ones who didn't mitigate the positions when we had to run on buy side liquidity. Then we broke down in price. This candle here would have been your late short if you weren't inside the rest of it. I'm looking at this as kind of a similar kind of move to what we've got over here. We've had the relatively equal lows. We've had a run on sell side liquidity here in the small range, so we've had the swing high to low form now. Hopefully people remember, but this that is what I like to trade. Pretty much my go-to trade, ICT ATM. That is pretty much what I'm looking at right there. Now what I'm saying is, and what I'm getting at is fucking hell, I'll get used to this. I'll be back in full mix very soon. If we get a run above this swing high, 67,200, like I've said, to above this potential, we start seeing SFPs, potentials of run, breaking down in price, moving to internal levels of liquidity, and we'll probably see that on a lower time frame before we get the true move. Now the 67,200 level to me is where I'm going to want to start to position. If we get a nice shift as we did here and we get that candle close through, I'm looking at this as potential, right, we've potentially formed the bottom. This is where I want to start getting in sync with the market. This took 9 months. The last bull market started let's say Jan 23, finished October 25, right? Pretty over 2 years, 10 months, solid bull market. This is potential bottom calling, in my opinion. Like I said, there is still potential to go to 49k low, but I was pretty much positioned in a lot of assets on this run anyway. Made bank going up, called the 50% retracement, because in my opinion, this is a buy model. So this is where I started to frame my moves. We obviously broke through, took sell side out again, but there's no panic. There's no need to panic. If it doesn't, you don't have to be clinically correct in these markets to make money. You just have to be brave enough and willingly enough to get in the market. Once you start seeing signs, now, like I said, what would be gay is if we didn't break 67, we come down and then we broke again. Got a bit longer going into Q4 before we start forming the bottom. Again, could be similar to what we've seen back in 2022, 2023, where the bottom forms later on in the year. There is that potential, but like I said, I'm slowly starting to see signs. We've got that V-shaped reversal pending. If we can get above that 67,200, then there is that potential of this market continuing high. We could potentially have a bottom forming. Now, if we do break above and we fail to come lower prior to the move, then this is an area I'm watching at the minute, that key level of 705 and the fibbing, and around that 75k area where we've got the breaker, the lowest low formed prior to the manipulation and an immediate breakdown in price. So if we extend this, or if you want to call it a doji fly fucking candle, whatever, I'm not interested, extend that when time, it lines up with the Fibonacci. You've also got the fair value gap inside this level from the wick to here. A lot of confluence in and around that area where this is a potential area we are going to get shorts. Now, where it really gets exciting is this level I am showing you here on the weekly. If we extend that over to the monthly, where this, like I said, gets super exciting, we're at 50% of the range. We're retesting the all-time highs from 2021. We've took out sell side liquidity. If we break this level, then we're really starting to look fucking smart, super fucking smart. But again, in my opinion, that's months away, even if that is going to occur. I don't think this is going to, that is certainly not back end of the year, but we've got a big hurdle to cross in a minute. 67,200. For me, I want to see strong candle closes through. Initially, we might get similar to what we've seen at the top, where we start getting wicks, but at the minute we're still under. Earnings have just come through today, not checked them yet, but there is still potential that we could capture some of this move. Now, that comes from the daily. Now, there is a lot of chatter about these levels at the minute. A lot of people trade ICT, so you are seeing a lot of similar ideas, and it's not just because everyone's copycatting everybody, because everyone who trades ICT, majority of us trade very similar systems. Again, it's just the way it is. It's a simple way of reading price, in my opinion. Levels of liquidity, shifting structure. Now, we had initial signs of the market was gonna potentially start to rip. Now, again, seen this coming due to the fact that the swing high that we formed prior to the move down, then I was looking for a run on the previous week's low. Once we SFP'd that, in my opinion, my head starts to think, right, this is going to start moving up. Now, again, when you go down to the lower time frames, once we got that shift above and the swing high formed and we moved aggressively in the market, that was your dip and go. That was the move that enabled us to capture this uptrend. I'm looking at this very similar at the minute. I'm seeing where we had the swing high formed prior to running these relatively equal lows. Notice we had the relatively equal highs here to the left. Before we get to the weekly high of, hang on, let me just, why is that not showing on the day? It should show on the day. Oh yeah, it is. Before we get to that, I know it's not the previous week, but before we get to that major weekly high over at that 6,700, we are printing once again a down move, and in my opinion this is a swing low move. Now, this is indicating to me that we are going to see a rejection and not a continuation in price from this. Again, I could be totally wrong, but this is what I'm anticipating in a minute and what I'm seeing. I'm thinking that this swing low potentially going to take out the daily previous day, candle here, SFP or potentially immediate reversal, then we're going to take out 6,700. From there, I'm pretty much looking at a rejection from the retest of that range and then coming back to these lows, taking out the 60k, the lowest low that is 61,172. This is how I'm gauging the market. I'm perceiving it pretty much the same as we've got at the top. We're showing very similar characteristics, I suppose. I got that out just about. Similar to what we've seen at the bottom, showing them same signs at the top. So this is kind of what I'm anticipating. This is what I've got my mindset focused on at the minute of what I'm seeing. What I would like now, this in my opinion is what I've kind of been waiting for since we've rallied. The move I captured here, I pretty much closed here like a fucking idiot because I thought we were going to get a retest 3 times. I got pulled on that, never managed to get back in line with it until we got into the OB. What I would like us to do is fail to get above this swing high, correct down to these lows, show lower time frame H1, M30, M15, don't care, lower time frame strength inside this OB, retest, then moonshoot. That to me would be a perfect scenario. One, because I think that will capture getting CT in the mindset of we've failed to get above a key level, we've broke down in price, we've got 50k low in, the narrative would be pretty sure. It would catch a lot of people off guard, in my opinion, coming down to 60k, retesting that range prior to failing and getting above 67k, then ripping from there. Then in my opinion, once price gets down to these lows, if it does occur like that, then we'll start navigating up towards 70k at a very, very fucking fast pace. So there's options. Or doesn't do anything I've just said. This candle in the next 2 hours rips, goes through, and we start moving up. Then there's potential we run up in inside OTE, as I've mentioned on the weekly. Get inside this breaker. Why is it not showing? Get inside this breaker, which again overlaps with the fair value gap. We've got potential relatively equal highs here, pool of liquidity, and also a pool of liquidity above these, getting closer to that 80k level. If we are going to go short, you want to be shorting in a premium of the range. The higher time frame range that would be working with there would be the monthly, going from 82 down to 57. That would be a premium. So I've got options. These are the levels I'm seeing. This is what I'm anticipating at the minute. I'm not fussed which way round it goes from here. If I don't get to capture the move going up, so what? I can't. My model's pretty simple. I want to see a run on a daily or a weekly low. At the minute we've not got that. We've not even got that today. There's been no SFP. We've not rallied above. We've got a potential Tuesday high of the week. Hopefully we get a rejection, take out liquidity here, sub 60. Let's go fucking long. So again, good to be back. There will be some more. I'll give everybody a update in the channel for the rest of the week anyway, regardless. Sunday, as long as I survive me event, there will be another crypto update. I'll give you a crypto update as a whole, drop some ETH charts as well in that. I'm not going to stay clear of any alts at the minute. I'm not too interested in posting alts. They're at all-time lows. You either buy or you don't. You either wait for a 20% candle before you want to buy. I'm not that person. I am happy and content with doing my bidding prior to seeing moves like that. They'll come. So will the live streams. They'll come back. It'll all come back. I'm back. This is my first video, a little bit rusty on the back of the chart. Vocals not quite there. We will get there. We'll be back in full force. But let's go. There's options. Quick recap. 67,200 key level. What we want to see. We want to see a breakthrough. We want to see that shift in structure to the upside. Options going forward is going to be, ideally, we want to see a rejection down to these lows, and then we can long from there. That's ideally what I want to see. Yeah. What we could see is the swing low prior. After we've took out all this liquidity here, we've got a swing low, we rally above, we break down, we retest, then we go from there. In my opinion, if we take out the swing high prior and we do break down like this and we don't break higher straight away, then this may not look as good as what it would if we don't run the high. We will see going forward. Hopefully that makes sense. If not, get that. Anyway, good to be back. Be back on Sunday. Till next time, keep cool, calm and collected, and see you later.